Well, great. Hello, St. Louis. Hello, Madison, Wisconsin, Peoria, Illinois. So what am I doing here? Who am I? Why are you here? There's all these questions to answer. So I'm Galen Gondolfi. I'm Senior Loan Counselor and Chief Communications Officer with Justine PETERSEN. We're a local nonprofit asset development organization, which sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo. But what that's about is this idea of opportunity and access to capital. Our mission statement is access to capital, safe and affordable capital. Justine PETERSEN is a micro lender for the SBA, the Small Business Administration. In fact, we're the nation's second largest micro lender for the SBA. What is micro lending? Caps out at $50,000. We do anything from a few $100s up to $50,000. But we do other stuff. We're a community development financial institution, a CDFI, known as Great Rivers Community Capital. And it's all about connecting local institutions, banks, credit unions, private foundations, invest in our CDFI, and in turn, we lend those dollars to small business people. So in fact, today I'm going to talk a lot about the partnership between our nonprofit operation and our for-profit operation of our CDFI, part with local banks. In fact, the dollar sign, I couldn't find a cent sign. That was on a manual typewriter, okay? So things have changed. You have to index their inflation now. We're all about big dollars. Moving on to numbers. Justine PETERSEN has done over 5,000 microloans, that is loans to small business people, anywhere from a few dollars up to $50,000. We started 12 years ago doing microlending. That year we only closed 10 of those loans. Last year we closed 700. Again, it's all about access to capital, safe and affordable capital, dollars that can't be accessed from a bank but potentially through our pass-through. So what do these percentages look like? I want to talk about interest rates. In fact, we compete head-to-head with what's called payday lending or title lending. Average interest rate of a payday loan in the state of Missouri last quarter was 453%. When I first heard that, I thought we should move the decimal point. We'd have to go back to my slide with the period and move the decimal point over. Even at 45.3%, it would be astronomical. But so think about it. What does this mean, this whole at? This means about accessing dollars off the internet. Since 2009, American Banker did a survey. Since 2009, 63% of businesses have accessed dollars off an internet lending site, most of them at high, amazing rates that actually draw on a daily amortization. Less than. Okay, what's this all about? It's about the fact that we assist small businesses that essentially have blemished credentials, that have less assets, that can't actually access from a mainstream institution. So what does this mean? Dollars over $50,000 we can't help you with. We're about gap financing. We're about microloans. We work, though, in tandem, in conjunction with mainstream lending, and that is perhaps a bank can do X amount. We can come in at a gap and do some tandem lending or package lending, if you will. Now I want to talk about jargon. Dan said Jason was talking a lot about jargon, was throwing a lot of jargon. I'm going to throw some jargon out. We do financial capability, and people are like, well, what does that mean? Well, it used to be called financial literacy, but we put some teeth on financial literacy and actually wed it with products. And that is this idea of true products and services from financial institutions. So this idea that people become empowered, economically empowered. In fact, Justine M. PETERSEN was a social worker. She was MSW of the Year twice in the 80s, and she was all about partnering with mainstream financial institutions to build wealth, to build assets. Back in the day, her first partnership, I believe, locally was with Boatmans. So it's about more. It's about raising credit scores. In fact, today I could have pontificated all 20 slides about credit scores. If you're going to talk to me about local wealth and local investment, I want to talk about credit scores. And that it comes down to that. Banks are either going to lend to you if you have a high credit score, and if you don't, they potentially come to us. And Justine PETERSEN's somewhat of the Statue of Liberty of microfinance, and that is, bring to me your huddled masses. Bring to me your blemished credit scores. Bring to me your abysmal credentials. And I'm glad you're all sitting down because that's quite a radical statement. But that's our mission. In fact, and I'm going to go through a list here. We have a colon. In fact, if you have your 820 credit score, if you have your tangible collateral, if you have your DTI that is acceptable to a mainstream financial institution, you're going there. I ethically won't sit down with you. You're going to a bank. Justine PETERSEN is actually a port of entry to mainstream finance. I should have a bumper sticker on my car that says pro-banking. In fact, what I do for a living at Justine PETERSEN is create customers for banks. It's exactly what it is. And why do we say that? Because that equates to empowerment. That is, for one to be financially capable is to be empowered and essentially to be able to access capital from the mainstream finance, which means asterisk. That is, we don't help everybody. We can't help everybody. In fact, if you don't need help, you're going to a bank. But if you're in such a state that I can't lend you dollars for your business, perhaps we'll think about other ways to assist you. There's technical assistance. There's ways to help you in terms of small dollar loans. Microfinance and microenterprise aren't synonymous. Microenterprise is about lending to small businesses. Microfinance is this idea of small dollar loans even to consumers. Much of my life is about this. People come in this state of mind, don't know what to do. They've been denied by a bank. What I try to do is come up with a game plan for them to access capital that essentially equals this idea of empowerment, that graduates into mainstream finance. In fact, Justine PETERSEN's interested in losing customers every day, or clients, if you will, and graduating them to mainstream finance. It's all about this there's all this corporate bravado about the wow factor and such. Justine PETERSEN's about excitement and opportunity and making dreams a reality for small business people, as well as consumer loans and such. This idea that the future is looking bright and there's optimism. It's unabated, actually. It keeps going on and on. So as much as we graduate those to mainstream finance, more and more come through our doors. And so Justine PETERSEN's actually a part of the largest or fastest growing microfinance program in Kansas City at the moment. At this demand just seems to be unabated. So, there we go.
Thank you.